The Texas Trio is back. My word earlier was spinner. That's a gambling term for winning streak. Stephen, the Sports Betting Alliance has Senator Lois Kolkhorst, Chuy Hinojosa, and Representative Jeff Leach on their team. Do you see them as an early winning streak for the alliance?
It is, and all of them have their individual, they come with their own individual, basically, following and people who they can influence to try to push this forward. And so this is something that the reason why I mentioned parlay is multiple bets. Even though Rick Perry mentioned that they're kind of in separate lines right now, sports betting and casinos, they're one and the same. And if lawmakers have the appetite for one, they likely will have the appetite for both to let the voters decide. So I think the more senators, the more lawmakers that get on board with this from a diverse part of the state, not just one location, it'll help their effort.
Greg, the companion resolutions to me read like crime bills and property tax cut legislation. I think that's a spin and play to get the lieutenant governor at least to the table and or at least keeping them from shutting them down. Perry seems to think Patrick will let the bills play out. You agree with that?
Rudy, my best sources on this issue are placing odds at 50-50 that any form of gambling gets on the ballot in November. And yes, Governor Patrick holds all the cards here. That's why I chose the word leverage. Patrick has the option of potentially horse trading his support for a statewide gambling vote in exchange for something he really wants, but is being held up or held hostage in the House. For example, school choice. Another thing I'm hearing is that it's all or nothing, not either or, meaning if casinos get through, sports betting will too. And I think it's significant that Senator Kolkhorst is carrying the sports betting bill in the upper chamber because she's a very staunch ally of Lieutenant Governor Patrick.
Stephen, if this online betting legislation is approved, the Lottery Commission would be in charge, not a gambling commission like what the Destination Resort Casino bill would do. What do you think about that?
I think the devil's in the details. It really depends on how specific certain lawmakers want to get on this. Again, this is to pass it to let voters decide, and so we're a long way away. Lottery Commission, Gambling Commission, I think those details will play themselves out. Like Greg mentioned, I think if one passes, the other will as well.
Greg, there's some opposition from some religious groups. Do they win?
I don't think they win. They don't have the stroke to torpedo gambling.
Okay, guys, I call all cards on the table. Now, to see this interview or any of our past interviews, go to our station's YouTube page.
And keep the conversation going with us by interacting with us on our social media sites.
The Texas Trio will be back next week with Senator John Cornyn talking China, Ukraine, the debt ceiling, and most critically, his uphill effort to broker immigration reform. Until then, don't forget to let us know what you think the issue is.